Hey guys, it's me Sujoy over here. Welcome back to another video. So on this video I'm going to be talking about which city should you live in Vietnam. So if you're new to my channel, the name of my channel is called as Sujoy in Vietnam. I've been living in Vietnam for over 7 years. I was an English teacher before in Vietnam for over 4.5 years. And then I started my online digital marketing business. I'm also a full-time YouTuber. So if you're new to my channel, welcome to my channel. If you have not yet subscribed to my channel, it takes less than 2 seconds to hit the subscribe button, and that way you can support my work. So I get asked this question a lot from a couple of my Indian subscribers. Which city should they live in Vietnam, right? So, since I've been living in Vietnam for over 7 years, I think I'm in the best position to talk about this topic. So, primarily, I have visited um, four cities in Vietnam. And of course, I've spent most of my living in Ho Chi Minh City, also known as Saigon, for over 7 years. I think it was not sorry. 5 years, and then of course I moved to the countryside, close to Ho Chi Minh City. And then of course I visited Hanoi. I was there in Hanoi for 2 months. I was doing part-time teaching. I was also staying in Da Nang. Da Nang I stayed for a month. So yeah, I'm going to be just giving my personal perspective so that you can have a better understanding. Having a bit of my morning tea to start my day. So yeah, so if you are planning to visit Vietnam, see, the beauty about Vietnam is each city is very different, and each city caters for different sorts of people, right? Different sorts of expats. Um, if you are that kind of an expat who loves the beach, if you're looking for an alternative to Pattaya, Thailand, and if you want to go somewhere cheaper and you want to have that beach life in Vietnam, then I highly recommend you should go to Da Nang. Da Nang, when I was there for a month, of course, I would spend most of the time going to the beach during the evening time. You had the Mike Beach. It's a very nice beach. And of course, you have a lot of seafood. You have a lot of Korean influence. You have a lot of Korean people, expats over there, and also you have a lot of Chinese tourists. Um, you do have a central market in Da Nang, which is I find it to be a very congested central market. I think I forgot the name of it. I think was it Chuan Market or something. Um, and of course, Da Nang is more like a laid back lifestyle. You can get beautiful apartments in Da Nang. Um, you can get an apartment for 350 US dollars. You can get a nice studio apartment. The only drawback which I found was when I was in Da Nang for a month is that it was the stormy season, so there was a very bad storm. So sometimes if the storm comes to Vietnam, right, it usually comes to Da Nang, right? So that's the only drawback, like sometimes the weather can be a bit extreme and you can have the stormy season, but apart from that, you have the beautiful beaches, laid back lifestyle, great for digital nomads. A lot of coffee shops in Da Nang. So, and of course, I think Da Nang has also transformed over time because I was in Da Nang like, I'm talking about, like 4 years back, or maybe 3.5 years back. So I think things have changed a lot in Da Nang. So it's catered more to digital nomads, expats. So if you're looking for an alternative to Pattaya, like in Thailand, if you want to go to Vietnam, and if you want to have that same kind of a vibe, I think Da Nang would be a good option. Of course, Pattaya is a different ball game altogether. But in this video, I'm sticking with Vietnam. Um Right. So now, if you are that kind of an expat who likes a bit of culture, who likes to live in a cultural environment, like, and if you really want to see um, the traditional, Vietnamese way of lifestyle, and like the authentic Vietnam lifestyle, and then I would recommend you go to Hanoi. Yeah. Now I was in Hanoi for 2 months. Now, knowing my background, I was in Ho Chi Minh for 7 years. Um, but going to Hanoi, I was there for 2 months. Um, Honestly speaking, I did not connect with Hanoi. I found it a bit challenging. People are very different. The people in the north of Vietnam are extremely different. Their mentality, their mindset, and very different, opposite to the people in the south of Vietnam, in Saigon and Ho Chi Minh City. So in the north, definitely you have very beautiful women. I found the women to be extremely very beautiful. They have very beautiful. They take very good care of themselves. I found Hanoi to be a bit congested. I was feeling a bit out of place. It takes time to understand Hanoi. Coming to Hanoi is, the first few weeks you will have a bit of challenge understanding where to move around in Hanoi, which I had. I think for the first 2 weeks I was having a bit of adjustment issues. I you know where to find those supermarkets where I can buy like secondhand clothes, or like those flea markets. And of course, most of the eatery joints, like if you go to the only place which I used to hang around in Hanoi was the Hoan Kim Lake, which is a very famous lake in Hanoi, and it is right adjacent to the Old Quarters. Now, Old Quarters is basically a happening district. It's like District 1 of Ho Chi Minh. So, Old Quarters, you will have that famous Highland coffee. You will see a lot of AHA coffee shops. It's a very famous brand out there in Hanoi. In Da Nang, it was Highland Coffee, but here in Hanoi, it's AHA Coffee. You'll see a lot of local Vietnamese men smoking a lot of pipe, starting like from 6 a.m. onwards. I've tried that a bit, but I didn't know how to smoke that. Um, and of course, the weathers, you will have the four seasons. If you like four seasons, like you want summer, winter, autumn, and spring, Hanoi would be the best place. The women in Hanoi are very traditional, especially during the dating, when it comes to the dating scene. So, if you're a solo expat and if you want to date a very good Vietnamese, nice girl, you can definitely um, date a nice Hanoian woman. Now, basically, the dating scene is very slow in Hanoi. It takes time to understand them because um, like I said, I found Hanoi to be a very traditionally rooted, and people are the mindset is very different compared to the Vietnamese people down in Ho Chi Minh City. So it's more traditional mindset, but um, it's just that you have to be prepared. Like if you want the four seasons, right? Like I hate winter, and right now I'm here in India and winter is setting in, so I'm wearing my sweater. But it's just that if you got to be prepared, like winter time it can get really cold in Hanoi, so you got to buy those. You can buy a jacket, like maybe for 500,000 Vietnam dong. I had that Columbia fake jacket from the market. So, and then of course winter gets cold, so I had to constantly drink a lot of warm, hot soup. The only thing which I didn't like about Hanoi is that a couple of things I didn't like is I found the people to be a bit short, in a sense that they're very sensitive. And of course, don't get me wrong, Hanoi people are very nice, but they can get very sensitive. They're very patriotic people. A lot of government um, uh, institutions are there in Hanoi, so people follow a lot of politics out there in Hanoi. So it's the cultural capital, right? And of course, when I used to go to those pho shops and all that, it would be so fucking crowded. Like I wouldn't even feel comfortable to go inside the noodle shop, the pho shop. The pho in Hanoi is very different. They have different forms of pho, and usually it's in Vietnamese written. So I would just go and point the pictures. So if you may have eating challenges in Hanoi if you're going to go out in those local locations, local districts, and if you want to try some authentic Vietnamese food. Not everybody speaks English in Hanoi. I mean, this was my personal experience. Um, so I would recommend you first hang around, the Huan Kim location, the old quarters, which is more catered to the tourists. Um, and of course, Hanoi, I found it to be very congested. It's just like a bit out of proportion. But don't get me wrong, Hanoi is actually a big city, but it's usually a bit congested. If you're away from the downtown city, then Hanoi is more spread out. You do have a bit of business districts. I did see a few business districts in Hanoi. Um, and of course, Hanoi is very expensive compared to Ho Chi Minh City. Like a couple of the malls I went, like they're more expensive compared to the malls in Saigon and Ho Chi Minh City. And of course, they do have, like, I think the Indian community in Hanoi is more compared to the Indian community in Ho Chi Minh City. So yeah, if you're looking for doing some business, you can try out your hands in Hanoi, import, export, or whatever. But I'm just giving you my personal experience. So I'm just talking about in general how I found Hanoi, right? Now this may be the reason because I was in Ho Chi Minh City for so many years. Now the fact is, if you're living in Ho Chi Minh City for many years, and if you're going to Hanoi, you will not like Hanoi. Hanoi is going to be very different for you. It's going to be out of place. So yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I did have good times in Hanoi, but I did find people to be a bit short with me. I found them to be a bit loud. People in Hanoi are usually very loud. Their dialects are very different. They have more of that Z accent, like zeh zeh zeh. And wherever I went in Hanoi, I saw a lot of police, military. I mean, it was just like so yeah, I mean, it's different, right? It's very different. Will I go back to Hanoi again? I'm not quite sure, but I may like to go for a very short visit or something, or I don't know. But yeah, so this is Hanoi for you, right? Now let's go down to Ho Chi Minh City, right? Which is the south of Vietnam. This is where I spend most of my living in Vietnam. So I think over because I was in the countryside for 2 years, but that was like 45 minutes from Ho Chi Minh City, Long An. So let's make it like 5 years. Yeah, in Ho Chi Minh City. Yeah. So or 5.5 years, right? Yeah. So Ho Chi Minh City, firstly, is a very big city, right? It's very spread out. So you're not going to find it very congested. Usually, it's very spread out, and like if you go to District One, you have a lot of tourist locations, a lot of concentration of tourists are there in District One. You also have the Bitexco Towers, which is the financial tower. So, and of course, a lot of coffee shops in Ho Chi Minh City. Most of the people in Ho Chi Minh City, they do speak English. You can speak in English with them. You wouldn't have problem finding a lot of coffee shops. There are a lot of coffee shops in Ho Chi Minh City. Sometimes they close, and within the next few weeks, a new coffee shop opens. So it's like a lot of different types of coffee shops come up in Ho Chi Minh City. So if you're a coffee lover, I highly recommend you should check out Ho Chi Minh City. And of course, you do have a lot of eating places in Ho Chi Minh City. So you can have Vietnamese steak, you can have, which is which is the, if I'm right, the bow steak. Um, and then of course you have pho. It's not very crowded, right? You can just go inside. You can go to an empty. It's easy to find a like a not very crowded pho shop. Go inside and just just tell her pho, or just you'll usually the menus, they have the pictures, so you can just tell her I want this or whatever. It's a more relaxing. Most of the people in Ho Chi Minh, they're kind of very laid back, right? They don't care about what's going on. Um, they don't care about the politics, which I found. People in Ho Chi Minh City are very laid back. The girls in Ho Chi Minh City, definitely they are very. I found them to be very westernized, right? So you'll see a lot of Vietnamese girls in Ho Chi Minh City. They'll be wearing all Western kind of clothes, very laid back. The dating scene in Ho Chi Minh City, if you're staying in proper Ho Chi Minh City, definitely you wouldn't have any issues. It's you can find it's a very like a laid back type lifestyle. But of course, you do have also a lot of places to visit in Ho Chi Minh City. So you can go to nice rooftop bars. You can go to Western, a lot of Western restaurants. Western joints are there in Ho Chi Minh City. Like you can even go to District Two. So Ho Chi Minh City is divided by different districts. So District One primarily catered for tourists. You can even go to District Two, where it's like a mini city within a city, which is primarily catered for expat teachers. So you'll have a lot of night bars and cafes, and you can also go to other locations in Ho Chi Minh City like Bintan district. You can go to and of course you can even go to different districts in Ho Chi Minh City which are not very expensive, where you can even rent a studio apartment, a studio for $250 per month. So it's got everything. It's got all the flavors, right? It wouldn't be much of a problem. Very connected, very properly connected, Ho Chi Minh City. So you have the Grab apps. So I commute using the Grab, which is the motorbike, Grab taxi, sorry, Grab bike. The beauty about Ho Chi Minh City is it's catered for all different types of expats. So if you want to live a minimalistic kind of a lifestyle, you can live in Ho Chi Minh City. If you want to have that high end lifestyle, definitely you can enjoy that also in Ho Chi Minh City. So there are also not a lot of low end and also high end boutique hotels in general. So it depends on your budget. Um, so and of course, yeah, it may feel a bit chaotic in certain locations in Ho Chi Minh City, but definitely it's a clean city. It's very spread out, very big, and that's what I like about Ho Chi Minh City. Like if you are planning to stay for the first 2 years in Vietnam, and if you really want to enjoy a nice city life, and of course you have the Bui Vien Street, which is like the party street of Ho Chi Minh City, which is like Nana Plaza. But of course, Nana Plaza is big. But yeah, Bui Vien Street is also cool, and of course, they're coming up with new joints and everything. So yeah, I mean, I think you can try out Ho Chi Minh City. So if you're more into the city life, if you like the hustle, and if you like the city life, if you want to have if you want to also enjoy the dating scene, I think Ho Chi Minh City would be the perfect pit stop for you first, to go to Vietnam and live there for a year or two, test it out. So, like I said, different cities in Vietnam, they have different flavors catered for different expats. What kind of I mean, different expats have different um, different forms of lifestyle, right? So you get what I'm trying to say out here, right? So yeah, I mean, I would love to hear from you. Like which city in Vietnam do you find it to be the best? In terms of long-term living. or if you're like, or maybe living a nice minimalistic lifestyle or high-end lifestyle or a digital nomad. Comment down in the section below. I would love to hear from you so that I can also maybe take your suggestions, and maybe I can test out that city in future, right? So yeah, if you like watching this video, make sure to like this video and all the good stuff. And if you found this video to be insightful, you can always buy me a coffee. The link is down in the description below. So with that being said, this was me, Sujoy. Peace out.